Hi, I'm Greg. Welcome to Affect Studio, and welcome to part 3 of my speaker comparison video. Yes, 2 parts weren't enough. I wanted to really do these justice. I'm using my Marshall Astoria cab, same green 15 and plexi heads for the dirty and clean sections, and I've actually done a second half of this one in this video where I've actually used the Astoria head into its own cab, just to hear what that's doing as well. So yeah, let's get right into it. This is the dirty Astoria with the green 15. So this is the clean clips, once again same setup as before, just different cab and obviously different speakers for each section. These speakers were carefully chosen by me unbolting them from the cabs they live in, and also a few cases pulling them out of cardboard boxes in my storeroom out here. So yes, they were speakers I have on hand that I wanted to compare. The Oxford speaker is the oldest one. That's from my 64 Baseman, and it's quite a common speaker you find in like deluxes of the same period, as well as other combos and closed back cabs. They use Jensens mainly, not exclusively, but mainly in the 50s, and Oxford became more common into the 60s. The Eminence speakers I bought a few years ago to try out because I haven't had a lot of experience with Eminence speakers. I think the last time I had an Eminence speaker was in my original one of the early versions of the Pro Junior amp. It had an Eminence in it. I think the original one blew and got replaced, but that always sounded good. I don't think I had any 10-inch Celestions at that point to actually compare them to, but I wanted to hear how they sounded. Now the Celestions, they're all UK versions except for the newer Greenback and the G12H-30. They're both Chinese versions. I don't know that it necessarily makes much difference. Some people say it does, others say every Celestion sounds slightly different anyway. Interestingly, when I did my speaker comparison about 15, 16 years ago, whenever it was, the newer Chinese-made Greenback was brighter and crunchier than my 78 ones from my quad that had 4, 78 or black back, but they're Greenbacks. And comparing them now, 15 years later, they're slightly darker than the old, original Greenbacks. So that's interesting that, no question that speakers change in sound over the time. Finally, here is a different set of performances, you'll be pleased to know, using the Astoria amp. so that brings me to the end of my 12-inch speaker comparison videos. No more to come, at least not for the foreseeable future. I may do a 10-inch comparison at some point, but I need to, my hands need to recover from all that tightening and loosening of the speakers, and I'm not totally joking. It does get a bit tiring. I don't like to use electric drills for tightening speakers, at least. They can be useful loosening them. What have I learnt from this? Basically that speakers are still a bit of a mystery to me. I've known for years that they are extremely important, as is the cab they're actually housed in, but as far as being able to give you any definitive statement as like this speaker works best in this sort of cab or with this sort of amp, I really can't say. People have preferences, and that's great, and you'll have some of these speakers you'll like more than others. I don't think any of them sounded bad. I don't think any of them stood out as being like head and shoulders above the others either. There's quite a range in price between, so the Aldico Celestion Blue and Gold, and I think the Creamback's quite expensive too, down to the Electro Harmonics, which was it might have been like $25 or something US when I bought it, something like that. It was really cheap. I mean, that's a few years ago, but still. So yeah. Hopefully this is giving you some ideas as to whether you need to change speakers or just to knowledge in general to understand what they're contributing to our guitar sound. So as always, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.